What's up, my writing weirdos? I am BC, and this is BC Brown Books, where we like to get weird about words in the ways that only writers can. We write them, and we talk about writing them. And tonight, we're going to do both. As you can see, I am hanging out in a totally different area of the new house because my partner hit me with wanting to actually redo the office and get rid of that horrid purple that is in there that you all know that I hate so much. So that is what my partner is currently like building some furniture, but we've been doing that all day today. So it has been like a crazy hectic day of going to IKEA and going to Home Depot and going to Staples and getting like all the shit put together and everything so that we can actually have an office that we like instead of an office that makes us want to puke on a regular basis and just makes the BC sad. So sad. Anyway, so my partner is in there putting together some furniture while I am doing the stream tonight. And, you know, so that's why I'm in a totally different room. You're going to hear some very interesting background, lots of shit going on. You're probably going to hear the roommate. You're probably going to hear our dogs, our cats, like my partner cursing at putting together furniture, like all that kind of stuff. But I am planning on getting the rest of Project Flambeau finished up because Sako let me know that she got this close to being finished with it on Monday. And when I went in and did the reread for it last night, I realized that I could probably literally finish this book tonight. So that's kind of what I'm going to do tonight, is try and finish this book. I do want to say thanks to everybody for that comes and hangs out with me tonight. I really appreciate it. I know the stream was supposed to be last night, but it was New Year's Eve and there were fireworks going off and it was really nice, and my partner and I were off, and I just thought, oh, well, maybe people have things that they're doing and they didn't necessarily want to be there on New Year's Eve. Of course, I understand this is Friday night. Not everybody wants to be, sitting at home writing on Friday night, but I do. I want to be home writing on Friday night. So anyway, as I was saying, I will be working on Project Flambeau, and judging by my surroundings, you can tell I am working solely off of the laptop this evening. So that means that I will be, I won't have the benefit of having a second screen like normal. So what I'm going to do is I am going to have my little assistant that we have all through the house set timers and like alert me to when things are finished. So I won't have that actually up on the screen, a timer up on the screen for us this evening like usual. And since I am working from the laptop, obviously it's on my lap. So you might see a little shakiness in the camera, and I want to apologize in advance. But I want to say hey to all my weirdos that have showed up. Debbie is here this evening. Hi, Debbie. Good to see you. I was so glad to see that you got your Instagram started. Just beautiful, phenomenal work. Beautiful work. Loved it. Debbie is working on some outlining this evening. Cuckoo. Precious Cousins. Me too. Me too. What? Like jam-packed day. I mean, I said a whole bunch of shit in my opening statements. But yeah. Renee Strength is here. Hey. Good to see you. And also doing some outlining tonight. So that seems to be I like how y'all are outlining. So you're getting like stories started. And I literally am at a point where I'm going to finish this story tonight. I am going to type the words, the end. The end. I love being able to type that. So hopefully, I mean, Friday nights are never usually a good night for Sako to join. I knew that when I had to like reschedule for tonight anyway, but hopefully maybe she'll get a chance to join in, because I would love for her to be present when I actually type the words the end. But if she can't, that's totally cool, because life is life and writers have a life. Do we? Do writers have lives? I'm not entirely sure about that. But let's just pretend writers have lives. Precious Cousins is doing the beginning of a screenplay. Awesome. So more outlining. I love it. So far, people in the comments are starting stories or screenplays, starting stories. And I am finishing one. So that's what we'll be doing. Yeah, I really wish I could put a timer on the screen for tonight, but so it is 8 after my time. So I think I'll chit chat for just a couple of minutes. And then that way we can be at a solid 10 after. And then I will get the assistant to set a timer. And I'm thinking 20-minute sprints. What are you guys thinking? 20 minutes? Because I think if we do 20-minute sprints, we should be able to, I should basically be able to finish up tonight. And just letting you know, if I do finish up tonight, if I type the words "the end" tonight, I will basically kind of end the stream right about then. It's probably not gonna be 2 hours worth of work because I'm looking at the scene as Sako set it up on Monday, and this scene needs so little. I did a little bit of work on it. Was it yesterday? Yeah, it was yesterday daytime. So don't get mad at me. Been like, well, you didn't stream BC yesterday because it was, but my stream is at night. And I did the work during Tamara Woods's day stream. So I did a little bit of the scene yesterday during the day, and I'm almost at the point where like the protagonist is making her final declaration. Like she's defeated all of the big bads and defeated all of the conflict that she's had to go up against. And she's up against the biggest of the bads right now, but the biggest of the bads is more of a verbal sparring and not like a big battle or anything. There was a huge big battle. And then an offer was made. Because we're dealing with demons and angels and paranormal shit. So an offer was made to the protagonist. And so now we're just kind of at the after scene where the protagonist is like, fuck you, kind of a thing. So Precious Cousin says 20 minutes is good, which is awesome. So that's what we will do. All right, we are at 10 after, so we're going to do a 20-minute sprint. So we're going to come back at 30 after. So I'm going to set my assistant real quick.
Sure, 20 minutes. Starting now.
All right, so everybody sprint for 20 minutes. beepity beep, beepity beep, beepity beep. As you all heard or might not have heard, that is the end of our first sprint, which was 20 minutes long. How did everybody do? I did really well, I think, actually, during that sprint. We had a couple of people pop in during the sprint. Hey, Spence, always good to see you, my lovely weirdo. Christina Poe is here. Good to see you, friend. Caitlin Ash is here and started a read-through of the second draft and taking notes to prep for draft 3. That is so cool. I love whenever I'm taking notes in order to get ready to start a new draft. It's like one of my favorite things. I get so jazzed. Yaza! Hey, Yaza! I love the duck avatar. Love the duck avatar. Yes, Happy New Year to you as well. I am doing quite well. As a matter of fact, I'm doing fabulously because, like I was telling people, the reason there's a weird background behind me and everything is all jittery and I only have one monitor to work from is because I am in my living room working off of my laptop solely because my partner is in the office and we are getting rid of that hideous purple walls. We went to IKEA today. We went to Home Depot today. We went to Staples today. We ordered some stuff from Amazon. We got new desks, which he is in there assembling as we speak. We got paint for the walls, which is going to go from a terrible, terrible purple with that spongy crap all over it. Ugh, I just hated it. I hated it. It is going from all of that. We are painting to this color that originally we were going to paint it like volcanic ash because I really like that shade of gray. But when we got to the store, we actually found a different color that my partner had seen on some tech guy's YouTube channel that his office was painted in. And it was really more of like a grayish blue. And we really liked how it turned out in the background of the video. So we decided on a fly to compare it to the yellow accents that I want, that I so clearly love, as everybody can see. I love yellow. And it worked really well and actually made the yellow pop more. So we got that color on a whim. I'm hoping I didn't make the wrong choice. Hoping. But yes, so I am fabulous because I am actually getting an office of my color choice instead of that putrid purple. And like I said, I am not like against purple any way, shape, or form. I like purple. I really do. Like, for instance, like you could totally see, like, I love Debbie's purple on her avatar. That is a brilliant, vibrant, wonderful purple. But the purple that was in my office was princess purple. And it was like a lavender. It was like darker than a lavender on the top. And then it was I don't even know the name of the fucking the purple that was on the bottom. But it was like a pastel purple on the bottom that they had then white sponge painted over. And it was disgusting. It was just disgusting. Anyway, and everything has white borders. And like, I don't mind pops of white here and there. Actually, I really like white because it's very minimal and I just like it. But that was just terrible. It was just terrible. And it's been driving me nuts since we moved into the house in June. So Debbie said only a couple of lines of outline. That's okay. When you're outlining, that's when things like you're plucking things out of the ether. Like you're pulling down the cosmos. And that takes time and energy to do. So it's your wedding anniversary today? You got married on January 1st? That is a hell of a way to kick off a new year. That is awesome. Happy anniversary. My anniversary is actually was actually a couple weeks ago. It's like the first couple of weeks of December. So for that sprint, since we were talking about like what we did. I got 394 words. I got a solid amount more in this particular scene, which is the closing scene. So I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good. I think one more sprint and probably maybe 2 more sprints, and I can probably actually type the words "the end." Now, of course, this is just the end on our 0 draft, which the 0 draft, of course, is just where we had our beat points that had not even any flesh on the bones of the beats, just the basic beat points, and then maybe a couple of rough lines of dialogue that popped into our head while we were like hashing out the scenes, kind of a thing, and the plot points that needed to happen. And then it's just those. It's just woven through. We'd write clear up until we'd come to a new beat, and then under that beat we would write again. And then again we'd write clear up until we came to a new beat, and then under that beat we'd write again, which is what I do for 0 drafting. I don't and that's what Sako agreed to do since we're collaboratively writing this thing. I don't know if it's how she normally does it or not, but that's how I do all my, like, once I have my beats in place, my 0 draft is that way. And then once I have my 0 draft in place, then I actually go through, and for draft 1, my first draft, is when I go through and I realize where I'm missing plot points or I'm missing beat points. It's also where I go back through my original plot points and beat points and my original exposition, my original like actual prose, and I do any rewrites of any scenes that have to be done based on new beat points that come into play, or just continuity issues that, because I don't write things in order most of the time, although Sako and I have pretty much tackled this bad boy in order. I think we've pretty much done everything in order. We did bounce back a couple of times, but that was because we realized we had a beat point too far down, and it needed to be actually like brought back up and woven back through. So those have been the only things that we've really written out of order. We do need to do we realize that we need to flesh out a few things in the beginning to give this more of a paranormal horror feel, because right now it's just it's just an urban fantasy. It's just basically a paranormal story. And Sako's, like, her main thing is horror. She writes paranormal horror. I write paranormal mystery. So we knew we were going to be able to nail the paranormal supernatural angle. So the urban fantasy was going to be really easy, but I really want to, like, leverage her talent with horror, because I have 0 talent with writing horror, and just based on the 0 draft, the rough that she has written so far, she good. So, like, I know we've got to go back and we've got to do that. So that'll be part of draft 1. And I've had people ask us, I mean, I even had my partner the other day when I was like, we can finish basically this draft at the beginning of the year. We can finish the 0 draft. And he's like, what's the 0 draft again? So, I was like, this is what the 0 draft is, blah, 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 blah. And then they were like, isn't that a first draft? And I say, yes, it is. And no, it isn't. So at least not as far as how I do, how my process works. And maybe, yes, it really is a first draft. And that's what most people call their first draft. I just call it a 0 draft because for me, a first draft implies that I have every component that I need and this does not have all the components that I need. So I guess if I happen to get lucky enough that I was thorough enough with my beats, I am never thorough with my beats. It has never happened. But if I were thorough enough with my beats, then maybe my 0 draft would just become a first draft by the end of the process, by the time I type the end. But again, I have never been that thorough. So let's see. So it is straight up 7:40. I think we could do another 20-minute sprint. I know I'm like right on top of it, but I think we could do another 20-minute sprint real quick. And give me 1 second.
"20 minutes, and that's starting now."
So everybody, let's go ahead and sprint. Oh yes, and in case I forgot to mention that 20 minutes means we'll come back at the top of the hour. beepity beep, beepity beep, beepity beep, beepity beep. As y'all heard my little assistant say that it is the end of our second sprint, which was another 20-minute sprint that we did. And again, I think I was pretty productive with this particular sprint. I think my earlier observation that probably, or premonition, I guess it's not really premonition, but anyway, observation that I can type the end after one more 20-minute sprint, I think it's pretty accurate, actually. So, pretty happy about it. How did y'all do during that sprint? Let me know in the comments. Let's see where or what I did. So what I actually did was 419 words that time. So I'm just at about the 800 word mark, thereabouts, for this stream so far. Another 20-minute sprint, so another 400 words maybe, and I get to type the end. Love it. Love it. I can't wait for it. Can't wait for it. So Yaza, we were discussing zero drafting before the sprint, and Yaza was saying that a zero draft to them is just a draft with a bunch of info dumping, but admits that they are a pantser, and I am a plotter. So I'm fleshing out an outline for the zero draft, whereas Yaza is just dumping as much info as possible. Yes, I am a plotter, Yaza, but I'm more of a plantser. So I do plot, and I have my beats and all of that stuff, but my beats are not as thorough, and my outline is not as thorough as other writers are. Like, for instance, if you guys watch Savvy Writes Books' channel and RK Gold's channel, they are co-writing a book together, and they are plotters. I mean, no question about it. Their beats are so detailed. They really don't have to write anything like in between them. Like, each beat as they hash them out, like mine are just like bullet points. Theirs are actual like full paragraphs practically. So they are real plotters. I pants a little bit in between my beats. So I have my beats. I know where my story needs to go, and each beat tells me, like, the next beat tells me how that scene needs to be developed. But with the exception of having like just a few ideas that come to me in between, like as I'm thinking about a particular beat, I'll have like some cool dialogue pop into my head, or like the idea of the setting it could be in to have a better emotional resonance or something like that. I'll put those in there. They're just like but they're pretty sparse. And then I just kind of flow with it while I'm writing that actual scene from that actual beat. So yes, I consider myself more of a plantser. I'm a little heavier on the plotting side because I have learned I don't finish things. And I definitely don't write as strongly as I can. But don't get me wrong, Yaza, I totally info dump. I just regurgitate. It's just like word vomit in my zero draft. As much stuff as I can get in there. And sometimes it's stuff that doesn't make any sense at all. I haven't done it with this project so much, and I think that's because Sako and I have done a very good job at keeping each other on track from one plot point to the next. Also, because it's two brains working on whatever the dilemmas are or whatever the problems are, the solutions come quicker. And it's not just us. I mean, it is. We are like discovery. We are doing the discovery process while we were like sorting out the beats and everything. But I think maybe because we talked it through with each other and we bounced the ideas off of each other while talking it through, it wasn't that we just wrote it down. Most of the time when I'm doing a solitary project, I don't have anybody to talk it through with. So yeah, it ends up all getting typed out, and it's all a big, huge info dump, and half the shit doesn't make sense. Not even half the shit. 3/4 of the shit doesn't even make sense. Just Diva! Just Diva is here. Love it. Happy New Year to you as well. Precious Cousins got 67 words with distractions. I get distracted a little bit. My partner came through looking very stiff, frustrated, slightly in pain, probably because they're in there building furniture while I'm out here writing and comfy with a blankie. I feel a little guilty. But I'm not going to feel guilty because I am working. So that is important. I just feel a little guilty because they didn't realize that I didn't have my stream last night, and it meant I was going to have it tonight, when they were like, tomorrow we should totally, go to IKEA and we should get all the stuff. And I was like, yeah, of course we should. Personally, I think they should take a break while I'm on my stream, but he gets in this, when he wants to get a project done, he just wants to get it done. And like, there are no breaks included. He doesn't realize we are going to have to break at some point because I'm going to have to eat. But other than that, Caitlin Ash finished reading through a chapter that doesn't need much change other than line edits. Nice. Genuinely surprised and impressed. That is true. I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you, Caitlin. Because I can't do that. Like, if I'm going from draft 2, taking notes to go into draft 3, I can guarantee there's shit that still needs to be changed. But I'm heavy on my drafts too, because between the zero draft and the zero draft into the first draft is where I do a lot of my info dumping and things like that. I do it in my zero draft, but my zero draft follows my beats pretty much. And then I determine what other beats I need, things like that. Once I get into the first draft, I do a ton of info dumping. Because there's a lot of extra stuff that I need to weave in there, and there's a lot of just exploratory stuff I need to do, because the beats aren't always perfect and the story doesn't quite flow the way I want it to flow. So that's where I get tinkery. Then first draft into second draft, I got to start adding shit in. This is where I'm hardcore. I can't have any non-filled in sections. Other sections can be bracketed still with just a few ideas in there. But yeah, the second draft is where, and so it can get really, my second draft takes me forever. It just takes me probably twice the amount of time to do than any other draft does. So that's what happens in my second draft. My third draft is where I take, my second into my third draft, I take notes on what's needed. I do more fleshing. I go through and I find phrases, commonly used phrases that I've used too often, back to back. That's where I start to fix my little worrisome parts. It's also where I do a good majority of my line edits as well. But then I have my third into my fourth draft. My fourth draft takes into consideration my beta reader stuff. So that's where I have, not really my beta readers, I'm sorry, my alpha readers. So my alpha readers get my third draft because they understand that they are getting really, really non-edited, really the roughest shit possible. And I have a very select number of alpha readers. They're friends and fans that have been with me since the beginning, and actually since my publishing journey. So that's my big thing. Then so my alpha reader notes become my fourth draft, plus anything that I feel like I need to throw in there. My fourth draft gets line edited and a rough edit, and then it goes out to my betas. My fifth draft includes my betas, which also, if some alphas want to continue as part of the beta process, then they get roped into that too. Most of my alphas pretty much just stay my alphas, though. They don't become part of my beta. Most of them have told me in the past they want to be surprised by what the final result will be. based on the result that they saw in the beginning. I guess it's just like fun for them, like surprise. And then yeah, usually I have a 6th draft after that, which is the which takes into consideration the editor's actual edits. So that's actually like proofing the galleys and like doing the corrections and doing that stuff. And then of course there is the final formatted draft, which I guess is the 7th draft or the final draft. So yeah, I'm a little draft heavy, which a lot of people have been like, I can't believe you draft that much. But yeah, I draft that much because that's the process for me. And it works for me. After, this is 2021 now, so hashtag dead 2020. I have been published now for 14 years. I have been hammering out my process of how many drafts it takes me to do things since before then, well before then. And yeah, it's been probably, let's just call it an even 20 years worth of working through that process. And those are the amount of drafts that work for me. Other people can do them. They can combine stages. I don't. I keep a draft. I keep my 0 draft is a document. I keep it. Any changes that gets made to it goes into a whole new document. And that is my first draft. So like, and then so on and so forth. How do I take notes? I am old school when it comes to taking my notes. Yes, I do make notes, like the project that Sako and I are doing. I do make notes on Google Drive in the note section and put comments in there and things like that. But I print off. I print off everything, and then I write notes in it. I put sticky notes on it. I highlight things. I write in the margins. I use crayon, whatever. Yeah, between drafts. Yeah. That's what I do. If it's my notes from my beta reader, they get, and from my alphas and my betas, they get surveys that they have to answer. The alphas get a little more input than the betas get because it's in its rougher stages and they've been with me a long time, and many of them are writers, or they're professional writers, they're professional editors. A couple of them are teachers. So, they get a little more like fill in some details. Most of them usually write notes, extra notes and stuff like that. And they all get digital stuff unless there are 2 alphas that require me to print it and send it to them. And they're a little older, and it's just easier for them than messing with the technology. And also one of them, their eyesight isn't that great. So Caitlin decided at the end of draft 2 to add another point of view. Oh, extra point of views at the end of draft 2. So this next draft will be draft 3 of the first point of view, but draft 1 of the second point of view. I'm figuring out how I'm going to weave it all together. Yeah. So if there's anything that I hate more about writing, it's point of view. And that's mainly because point of view is confusing, and it's easy to jump point of view. It's easy to head hop. It's just really easy to do all of that, and making sure you keep all your point of views straight. It's just difficult. So more power to you on adding one and keeping them all straight, and then weaving them together. I am at a point in my dark fantasy series that I'm going to have to figure out I'm going to have to start cutting out stuff. Honestly, I'm seriously going to have to go. It's going to like rip my beating heart out of my chest, but I'm going to have to cut whole characters. And then I'm going to have to figure out how to take the plot points that are with those characters and weave them in elsewhere, which I'm not looking forward to. I'm not. I'm only in draft 2, which sucks, which absolutely sucks. And that's a 3-book, possibly a 4-book series. So the first one, draft 1, is finished. The second one, draft 1 it's finished. It's just not like, I'm not like thrilled with the finished part of it, so I'm letting it settle a little. And 0 draft of book 3 is finished. Not thrilled again, so I'm kind of letting it settle just a little bit. I work on so many projects at once that there's a lot of things having to settle. Also, I have to like prioritize things as well. So that one kind of falls a little bit to the wayside. It's like my magnus opus. No, it's not. But it is, however, one of my favorite stories that I've come up with. So Key is here. Hey, my weirdo. Wishing you all greetings and hallucinations and a happy new year. Let's just hallucinate that the strike of midnight for 2021 magically erased a bunch of stuff. Just hallucinate that for just a moment. That's so nice. All right, now back to reality. So yeah, anyway, that's just Eva finished some Instagram graphics. Don't love either, but my eyes are tired and it's the first, so had to. Yeah, true. But you've been listening. Yay! Okay. So I do that all the time where I'm on a stream and I'm in the chat. I'm not like on screen, but I'm in the chat and I'm working on other stuff even in between the sprints just because I can. I mean, still, paying attention to the comments, still listening to what's going on, but just working on other stuff. I was on who was I on? Oh, I got a blank page. So I was on their chat. Was that yesterday? Yesterday, I think it was during the day. Yeah, it was right after Tamara's. I was in their chat and yeah, I was editing a video like while the conversations were going on. I was still paying attention to the chat and everything. Just kind of sitting, my half listening that I do because of my hearing and half reading. So I'd glance at the screen periodically and, glance back kind of thing. Key says, mentally put out the dumpster fire that is 2020. Hope some a-hole doesn't set the new dumpster on fire too. Yeah, I'm really hoping. I think we'll be seeing some of the guilty a-holes disappearing that set the dumpster on fire initially. We won't be seeing enough of them disappearing. As far as incoming a-holes, I don't know exactly. They might light the new dumpster on fire. They might blow it up with dynamite. They might not. I don't know. I remain skeptical. As in most things. Okay, so it is now 20 after. So I think we should do another 20-minute sprint. So I am going to set that up. So that means we will be coming back at 40 after. Let me get my timer set up. 20 minutes.
20 minutes. Starting now.
Everybody sprint! Beep, 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 beep. Awesome. Hey, Sako.
Hey, I made it right
Yeah.
before the end.
No, it's okay. It's all cool. I was one late getting it to you. 2 Fridays are not great for you. Like
Fridays
personal
aren't.
life. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was telling everybody, and I'd mentioned to you on my message that my day has been really jammed packed.
Yeah.
Reason being, because we are finally redoing the office.
Oh.
So I'm super excited. We went to IKEA today. We went to Home Depot today. We went to Staples today. We got our desks. We got our paint. No more purple office.
Nice.
So excited. So like pounding and everything that you hear in the background, and the reason I have weird like background around me is because y'all get to see part of my living room and the partners in pounding away on desks.
Cool.
So I am like half of a sentence from the end. Like the end. I am half of a sentence from it. But how did everybody else do on the sprint? I am probably literally going to take 3 seconds, finish that sentence, and so bear with me for just a second because I think it's like 12 words from the end.
No worries.
So you guys
I am working on my free training that I will be offering next week.
Ooh.
Free witchy training for 3 days only.
Really?
Yeah. Working with spirits.
Oh, nice.
Be it the dead, be it deities, be it animal guides, all those things.
That's cool.
Also, hi, Key.
All right, so I literally just typed the end.
Granted, it's only like, what, 30,000 words?
Yeah, I think so. Let's see what this is going to give me like total word count,
Mm-hmm.
and it's going to include the beats.
It's going to include the beats, yeah.
So right now it is sitting at 28,989 words.
Mm-hmm.
So it is, of course, even though typed the end, it is, of course, nowhere near like ready. So,
Yeah.
One, you and I have already discussed, we need to go back and add some earlier scenes. We need to flesh out some characters a little bit, like Christopher, so they're not quite so I'm obviously a villain, kind of a thing. And I know we're gonna have to move some stuff around, and we need to add a few scenes. So that's gonna flesh things out considerably. Which we're probably, honestly, I was thinking we're probably looking at that's probably a good another 10,000 words worth.
At least.
At least. Yeah, at bare minimum. I'm thinking it could probably be at least another probably 15 to 20, honestly. Because like I was trying to tell everyone that even though it's our 0 draft and it is a fully fleshed out draft from beat points, it's still very skeletal. It's not our best writing. A lot of stuff still needs to be. We need to pack some meat on them bones. But yeah, so Tanya showed up. Hey Tanya, good to see you.
Tanya.
Is it Tanya or is it Tanya? Because sometimes it is actually Tanya and not Tanya. So where's your accent? Are we going long or short?
Long
just
or
curious.
short? I am curious as well.
Yep. He's sending some greetings. He realized earlier today that the story arcs they'd planned for the next book wouldn't work. Ugh. Hate that. Too much stuff. Rearrange things to fit, and another book will come after this one.
Okay.
Of your already massively, epically long story that I know you're writing. So I think it's cool.
So now it's being split up.
Yeah, now it's being split up more. And Key's like, but it ought to make for a good story.
Good.
If I'm lucky, I can keep it under 130K. That's how I'm feeling about my dark fantasy at the moment. Like each so each book, the drafts that I've been writing, like each on book 1, the first draft, once I finally got to the end of the first draft, was already like 156,000 words. And that's the end of the first draft. That's not even like, I'm not even in my second draft. I haven't added, like, there's still whole chunks in there that just say add shit here.
Yeah.
So that,
It sounds like you might have fun, like, cutting things.
I'm going to have to. I was mentioning that earlier. I realized earlier I have a lot of extraneous characters that don't need to be in there. Yes, they were put in there, and the information they give does advance the plots. But I could easily shift that information to other people and streamline my characters more. I just have far too many characters. There are like 11. Yeah, there are 11 characters to follow, which granted it is like a omniscient third person. But is it omniscient? No. I'm writing in third person limited. But granted but still 11 characters to follow, even for an epic fantasy, is a lot of characters to follow. It's very like, here are so many characters. Here's character vomit, like Game of Thrones was. And don't get me wrong, I did like that. When I read the Game of Thrones series,
it's got a time and a place, and
it does. But I'm starting to think some characters are in there with really minor stuff that they're advancing, and it could be much better. Just like, it's like I said, it's going to tear my beating heart out of my chest to cut some of these characters and some of this writing, but I can probably cannibalize it, and it's malleable.
And yeah, just stick with like the handful of characters.
Yeah, I think if I can trim it down by about half, if I get down to like 6 characters, maybe 7, but about 6 characters, I'll be doing good. So Key was saying book 4 was 140K, and book 5 now just became books 5 and 6. Yep. I know, you're writing like this like massive story, which is cool. I'm looking forward to it. Just what you've told us about the story so far, I'm looking forward to that shit. Yeah. So I feel like I'm excited to have you read what I wrote. Not right now, of course, but you know.
No, of course not. But
no. Over the next few days.
Over the next few days.
Over the next few days, and so.
Yay.
But also, I'm also excited because I know that my desk is in there being built and everything. But what I'm not excited about is that I'm gonna as soon as I get off the stream, like I am all sweaty and gross and nasty already. I literally was in the office cleaning and scrubbing and moving shit out of there right up until like 15 minutes before the stream. Like when I sent you the link, I was like, this totally should have came to you earlier. I didn't even have my laptop set up yet. Like I had brought my laptop out and was still plugging in the camera and all of that stuff. So I was like, am I going to be able to do this? I don't know. And I don't have a second screen again. And, you know, but it worked, me just telling people and setting the timer and everything. But then like, yeah, so I was like, when I sat down, I was like, I'm all sweaty. But we're going to have to paint still tonight. And so we're not going to bed like anytime. I know it's only, 9:00 my time, almost 9 my time, but definitely not going to bed anytime soon. One, we can't, because like all the shit we took out of the office is pretty much on our bed and like on the floor of our bedroom. Like all the cables for the computers and like everything is in there, and like there are just stacks of books on like my side of the bed. You can kind of see where his side of the office and my side of the office, like my side of the bed has all of my shit from my side of the office, and his side of the bed has all of his shit. And it's just like, well, at least we've got matching his and her stuff.
Midnight Marauder is saying 93K and started over.
Okay, I feel you, Midnight Marauder, because, by the way, welcome, Weirdo. I don't think I've seen you on my channel before, so welcome. I am always glad to have new people, new weirdos, specifically, new writing weirdos. I feel you, though, on the 93K and started over. I did that with my Dark Fantasy series when I started rewriting it, because, as Sako knows and a few other people know, my Dark Fantasy series that I'm working on right now is actually a revamped, revitalized my very first book that I published in 2007, which was really not that great. Nobody should go look for it. Anyway, and it was really before I became a plotter, or plancer, really.
And then you're like halfway into it and you already see the developmental problems.
Yep.
And
I got about 80K into that story of just discovery writing that shit, and went, holy fuck. There's huge plot holes here. There are tons of developmental issues. I'm going to write myself into a corner over here. This shit doesn't make any sense. And then I was like, I have to start over. I have to outline. I have to brainstorm. I have to outline. I have to beta, or I have to beats. And then I have to zero draft. And with that story is when I really actually became a plancer, because I still do some discovery writing. I just don't let myself go off on tangents like I used to.
Yeah, I gotcha.
Yeah.
Like straight and to the point. And you've kind of gathered like how I treat beats.
Yeah.
Like
you just get right there. You're just like
straight to the point.
Yeah. And I do, but I meander more. Like I
just a little bit. Only a little bit. You're like, well, this was the goal, but also this happened.
But also happened. I had a really good idea. Yeah, that happens a lot. Which I did realize something while working on this scene, the funeral scene. I got to go back and rewrite the section with Kyler at the house, because I beat him up way too much for him to even be ambulatory at the funeral.
Well, then maybe we just beat him up for the funeral.
I could have him beat up for the funeral, but I don't really want him beat up for the funeral, or I don't really want them beat up for the funeral. And the reason I don't is because it's only been like less than a week. I still want their shiner from the black eye.
Right.
Very noticeable. Because I called reference. I harked back to it in this scene.
Okay.
I think, yes, beat them up, but it's gonna have to be from a metaphysical point of beat up, like break them mentally a little bit, kind of a thing.
Right on.
Oh yeah. Midnight Marauder says, same. I discovered the fuck out of my first draft. Yes. Yeah. My discovery writing process is, I didn't do it as much with working on this project with you, Sako, because you helped rein me in a little bit. But usually where my discovery writing is between the zero draft and the first draft. Once we go from zero to first and we're in that first draft, that's where you think I get off on little tangents now.
I see.
Yeah. So it's where my first draft is where I get really playful. And it's where I start to deviate from the beats a little bit, and it's where I have to rein myself in. I don't think I'll do it as much working on this with you, because you've been good about like keeping me on track, and also indulging my, what if we did this?
What if we did this?
Yeah.
We can totally make that happen, but we also need to make X, Y, and Z.
And yes, don't forget, you need to actually have some foundation to that shit.
and then I'm like, maybe we should have some foundation.
Yeah. Which is eventually what I get to by the end of draft 1. Is where I get to, this is where I need foundation put back in. And that's when we get draft 2. So, but also, as I was mentioning earlier, I'm really heavy on my drafts. Like there are 7 drafts before I am ready for publication.
I usually do 3. So I consider what we just did to be 0 draft.
Mhm.
And
Ditto.
then draft 1 is like developmental stuff, like let's put in more foundation, let's have more consequences
Mhm.
and stuff like that. And then number 2 and 3 is like little story arcs that I've woven in, and really just like copy edits.
So, 0 draft is putting a little meat on the skeleton of the outline. Draft 1 is where I do some experimental shit and try and like come up with some additional ideas.
I think we should re-outline the story and put in some new beats.
Oh, absolutely. We could go in. Do you want to make a whole new doc for that? Okay,
Mhm.
good. And then that way we could take out the old beats,
We can take out the old beats.
and then we can start putting in the other beats where we know we need to like do a section.
Because I think we still have the beats in my formula sheet.
Yeah, I think so.
So we can just do another copy of the formula sheet and
I love that.
just start from scratch, as it were, with just the notes that we've done already.
Yeah, I think that's great too.
Cool.
Key says, good luck on the rewrite. However, you might be surprised at how much you can keep. Sometimes reorganizing how paragraphs flow can take care of many of the issues. Yes. I have to say, yes, Key. For Midnight Marauder, I cannibalized much of the 80K that I had written. And I think I salvaged probably a good 55, 60K of it that only needed minimal rewrites. I needed a fuck ton of rearranging, but it only needed minimal rewrites. And that went into the actual the second 0 draft,
Yeah.
for lack of a better term. But yeah, so yeah, but no, back to what you were saying. I think that's a good idea. We should do another draft. It should be like, well, I guess it would be draft 1.
This would technically be draft 1. Yeah.
So, it would technically be draft 1. So then we do that. We take out the old beats. We
Basically start a new document, and then we can cut and paste as needed.
Yeah, we'll just cut and paste the sections, turn them all into one color of the same font.
Yeah.
Because we've written in multiple colors based on who was writing when.
Yeah.
And trying to keep track of stuff. So we could do that. Go back through, and we should definitely do a reread, and then do take some of the comments that we've already had off to the sides that we've made, and those that are applicable towards a beat. Put those in there as the new beats. Yeah, second round beats, which I've never done before, so that'll be fun.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I've never officially done second round beats. I've just gone back in and given myself. I guess I have done it. I just didn't call it that. So I've just gone back in and done. Hold on, real quick.
Yeah. This would be good. Just about Save the Cat. Absolutely, we've heard of it.
Okay. Yes, Save the Cat for novels. Yes, it's on my shelf.
It is on my tablet.
Yep, it's on my shelf. It's now on my bedroom floor at the moment, but yes, it's normally on my shelf. Save the Cat is a good book. It's a little hard to follow. It can be. I've heard some writers say it can be a little hard to follow.
Some might have trouble with it.
Yeah.
I think it doesn't have as much like flesh to it, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Like at least my outline kind of allows you to meander a little bit. Like
It does. It leaves you. Yeah, Save the Cat is a little more rigid. Yours has more avenues left open for your mind to be able to wander, for your brainstorm to be able to wander.
mhm.
But Save the Cat is still absolutely a phenomenal resource.
It is.
And if you're
Especially if you're like unknowledgeable of structure at all,
exactly
like that's a really good starting point.
yeah. And what the other thing I like about it is if you're somebody like myself who meanders too much, it can keep you more reined in. And I've used it for that.
Yeah.
I've used it to help me rein in a project.
Yeah.
So, okay. Yeah, so I think we have a really solid what we're doing on Monday then.
Great.
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
If you want, I'll just, since it's my days, I'll go in this weekend and transfer everything over into a new doc and share it with you. And then I will have draft. We'll have first draft.
First draft.
Yeah. So I can go over and do that stuff this weekend.
And
Probably not
then
tomorrow. Honestly, gonna be
Monday,
sick.
and then Monday, I will probably start going through and re-outlining what we've got.
Absolutely. That works. So Monday I don't have anything that I don't think like going to keep me. No more vet appointments because she's been given a clean bill of health by the vet for right now. We finished up the last of her antibiotics for her UTI. She still has a little tiny bump near the incision site from the spay that the vet's a little concerned about, but it's going down.
Mhm.
So she may have to go back in for an antibiotic shot in the future just to get rid of that little bump because he thinks maybe she has a pocket of
Like pus or something.
in there, and it may just need basically like a localized antibiotic shot to just like finally wipe it out other than the oral antibiotics we've been giving her. But yeah, so
Right.
no more vet appointments. So I should be there Monday.
Great.
Unless, of course, I don't think my headache will come back. I've been feeling actually pretty good.
I'm glad. You look
despite-
great.
Yeah, thank you. The headache's been the big thing because it's been I've had the little fever. It's not been bad. I have a little bit of a cough, but honestly, I have had this cough for like 3-4 weeks now, and I am positive at this point that it's actually my allergies.
Mm.
But yeah, and then it's really been the headache because the headache's been making me nauseous. It's been like I was looking pretty peaked for a while.
Mm.
Hey again, Spence! Just in time for us to take off.
Yeah.
Okay, so yes, so what I did this evening was type the end on the zero draft of Sako's and my book, Project Flambeau, that we have, of course, been writing for you all live on the stream from idea inception to the end of the zero draft. And apparently we're going to restart.
And now we're going to start.
Now it's time
on nuts. I might do a stream after this because now I'm awake and I still have stuff I want to write. So,
Spence is excited for us.
Okay. Yeah.
And I think she's very happy that you'll be doing a stream after this, which I would love to like get on and like do stuff, but he's gonna get really mad because
I think
already really mad.
I think you guys got stuff in your office that you should probably work on.
He was already really mad when I was like, I'm streaming tonight. And he's like, what the? He's like, you didn't stream last night. Your stream was last night. Why didn't you stream? I was like, I didn't stream because it was the freaking holiday.
Yeah.
It was the holiday. Like today's the official holiday, but everybody celebrates the holiday last night.
Yeah.
I was like, I didn't want to write last night. I just wanted to spend time with you last night. There were pretty fireworks. It was a good night. And he's like, well, did you have to reschedule it? I was like, yes, I did, because we're this freaking close to the end of it. was like,
Yeah.
so yes, I did. That way we could
Yeah.
officially say, I mean, we can't officially say we finished.
Not yet. Not
No,
with all those-
that we finished the zero draft by the end of 2020, but
we did.
we did. I mean,
We did.
we did. So there was like 800 some odd more words that had to be put in there. We could fudge that a little bit, that line a little bit. Thank you very much, Caitlin. I am excited about it. This is the fastest I have ever zero drafted.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Like, my second draft takes me the absolute longest, but my zero draft I think takes probably the second longest for me to do in my process.
My first draft is usually the longest. Yeah, I think my first draft is the longest because I'm doing developmental stuff and I'm doing like trying to thread the stories together.
Yeah, and see, that doesn't really come from me until my second draft where I start to really thread it. But I do 7 drafts. So I do way more drafts.
Mm-hmm.
You do, like I said earlier, I could do fewer drafts if I combined some of my stages, but I don't. So that's why there's so many. Sushi. I want sushi now, Spence. Thanks. I really want sushi. There's no place I'm going to be able to get sushi on New Year's Eve or New Year's Day.
Yeah.
A Friday evening this late.
Yeah.
Like I might be able to find a place, but I doubt it. Not good sushi.
Mm.
Yes, we literally finished first thing this year. We can say that we have a win on January 1st. We have a win. Yeah, I like it.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead and do your outro and let folks know who you are because we definitely didn't get to do an intro for you.
Howdy, howlers! I'm Sako Tumi, also known as Voit, also now known as the Witch of Till with Tag. And I write horror, and I'm a witch, and I'm a graphic designer, and sometimes I combine those 3 things. Though recently I have segregated my witchy stuff and my author stuff into separate accounts. Woo! So if you are looking to market yourself as an author, or you're looking to be a witchy or witch, please drop by my channel. I would love to see you.
Yes, and if you need amazing graphic design work, she's amazing. She's absolutely amazing. And for hire.
I try to be.
For the most part. Like, based on schedule, of course.
Yeah.
But, and y'all know who I am. I am BC, and this is, of course, my channel, BC Brown Books, where we like to get weird about words in the ways that writers can. We write them, and we talk about writing them. And then we also talk about lots of other weird shit in between. Much of it very nerdy, or just generally weird, or just kind of rambly. But, hey, that's my shtick, y'all. So thank everybody for coming out tonight. I know it was awkward having it on a Friday, not on a Thursday, but the whole holiday thing and blah, 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 blah. And we did finish a book. Well, sort of, tonight. So I will see all of you on Monday on Sako's channel when we stream and we officially start our first draft of Project Flambeau. And then I will see you all next Thursday on my channel again for the next productivity sprints. Good night, everybody.
Good night.